It has been almost 3 years since I last did a garage collection update tour, and since then, I mean, almost half the whole fleet has changed. Now I can't wait to showcase all of them to you guys in this video, but first, we have to get the cars in formation. It's been a while. The reason why I haven't done a video like this in forever is simply haven't had all my cars together. And right as I finally now have all 6 here in the driveway, one of them is leaving, and I'll talk about that later on in the video. But let's start out with the tour. Starting over here with the oldest car that I've owned, and also just the oldest car here, my 1991 R32 Skyline GTR. Those of you that are fans of the channel will know that this is kind of the halo car, the car that I'll tell people that I'm never getting rid of. And recent changes are this hood is carbon. We got a paint match KH2 gray go along with the car. Obviously, we left some carbon details up in there. Bumped up the stereo system in, got some new speakers in, they were blown. Added in OEM tails, swapped out my aftermarket ones, just a little more period correct, and can't go a video without pointing out the JDM plate that still have scored for this thing. Can't ever re-register this car. I'm too lucky. And then this is my holy grail. This is my Murcielago LP640. This car just came back from EAG, and they did one of the first full manual conversions on this car. It's got a gated shifter. Never in my life would have I imagined owning a Murcielago, especially at this age. And on top of that, never in my life would I have imagined owning a gated manual LP640, which we now have. And man, having it manual has completely transformed this car. I would fully admit right now that this is the best car that I've ever driven. I mean, I've gotten to drive a lot of other cool cars that I've never even owned, but this transmission takes a car that is simply just coolest in the world for me and allows it to be usable. And basically, it doesn't have any catch. Prior, it's like you have a cool screaming V12 with the doors that go up, all this stuff. But the catch is you have a clunky transmission. It is kind of hard to drive every now and then, but this solves all of that. I don't think I've ever been happier with this car. I want to say this car is not going anywhere, but ever since, I have gotten some wild offers. And everything has a number. I'll leave it at that. So we're not gonna get into anything further, okay? Anyways, this is another highlight car for me. This is my one muscle car, and it is frankly the most decked out Camaro that you can have in modern form, at least. Currently wrapped out in a Jeff Gordon, William Byron homage NASCAR livery, which we did for some rallies, and also took it to a NASCAR event, which William himself said he saw the car, which is awesome. But underneath this livery, it is a 1,000 horsepower Hennessy Exorcist. Boom. Oh yeah, so big Magnuson supercharger, Hennessy headers, ported cylinder heads, upgraded fuel system, big Hennessy cam. And this car, for it being the highest horsepower car I've ever really owned, has caused me the least amount of issues. I mean, one, shout out Pennzoil, running strong on there. Two, I guess it's just Chevy, you know, like good old GM. This thing's basically an LS, bolt-on LT4. But yeah, that's why I love this thing, because it is very obnoxious. It's the loudest car here, I would say, but it is very usable in a lot of ways. I mean, it has trunk space, and it's manual, easy to get around in. It's a track monster. Currently, right now, we're rocking the livery. When I do plan to take it off, I'm probably going to hit up Hennessy again to get my Exorcist stripe back, and I think we might go with a nice satin black and just be really, really low-key and really murdered out. This is my daily right here, 2018 Gen 2 F-150 Raptor. It's sitting on the T37 XTs, and then we have our little customized livery by Rumble Wraps. But other than that, it's all stock. Recent maintenance just took care of the cam phasers, which are a huge issue with this generation F-150. And if you guys want this generation F-150, be prepared because it will happen. Like it's a matter of when and not if, and it can be up to a $4,000 job that you'll have to probably pay someone to do. So because I just took care of it, I'll be holding on to this truck for at least the foreseeable future. But yeah, it's not going anywhere. It tows all the cars around, it hauls all the people around, and it's a good rig. Gets awful gas mileage though. This is the most recent addition to the fleet. This is my Porsche 997 Carrera S, and we did a bit of a transformation with this thing. When I picked it up, it had a lot of questionable modifications. Wrapped hood, painted red mirrors, big RS wing. It was all over the place, and we have cleaned it up, and a lot of people like that content, and now it's in basically its complete form. It's got a chalk gray wrap by Vinyl Frog. It's got obviously some JDM Workmeister wheels. It's got a Getty Design ducktail back here. Nice 5-speed exhaust. Of course, this is a 6-speed manual as well. Currently have no plans on letting this thing go, and just really out here to just enjoy it, because it really was a long process for the past 8 months, I would say, of touching every little tidbit of this car to get it to where it is now. So now it's like just kind of like, you know, enjoying the reward. This right here is my 2000 Honda S2000. It's a very simple car with some meaty fitment, some brakes, an intake, but other than that, it's like all stock exhaust even. And this checked off the one little roadster that I always wanted in my life, never had a convertible. And it also checked off having a lightweight small car with really low power, because a lot of people told me that that can sometimes be the most fun combination. And they're right, it is. This car, in certain scenarios, is more fun to drive around than my 1,000 horsepower Camaro over there. It's just, I mean, on top of that, this car revs up to 9,000 RPMs. You got one of the craziest VTEC crossovers. So this car can make you giddy if you're just driving it, you know, just entirely by yourself. And I advertise all of this, and I must disclose that this is in fact the car that is actually leaving us. It's leaving us as soon as tomorrow. So by the time this video is out, this car is probably already gone. But the reason why I'm letting it go is just because I've kind of done everything I've wanted to do with it, and being a YouTuber, as the whole game goes, you got to kind of cycle through some stuff. You got to make room for other things, and I also need cash for other things. There's a decent amount wrapped up in this car because it is a really low mile example, and you know, as the summer is on the horizon here in Arizona, and that, you know, to me this car is simply only enjoyable in its top-down form. That's what it's meant to be owned as. I'm letting it go ahead of time because I know that in the summertime I'm not really going to be able to use it anyway, and it will just allow for some other fun project to show up on the channel. It's funny because when I first listed this on my Instagram and stuff, I got a lot of comments just flooding in saying, "No, what are you doing?" I truthfully thought all you guys forgot I even had this. I haven't really shown much, and it's truthfully funny that no matter what car here gets as little screen time as it does, people will always freak out no matter what you're getting rid of. And at this point in the game, I've kind of realized to block it out because, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, they're my business decisions, and I kind of have to navigate them as I do. But I do also understand that, you know, people get attached to certain things on the channel, and so that's why I also try and hold on to them longer than most other YouTubers do. I feel like we've done a good job. At least each car usually lasts minimum a year on the channel for sure. But this is the entire roundup, and it's funny because 5 out of the 6 vehicles here are manual. I've actually kind of almost outdone my manual itch now, and I feel like whatever I want next, I actually wouldn't mind if it's automatic, because literally one of the cars was automatic and now it is manual too. So 5 of them are manual. The S2000 is leaving us. The rest of the cars, everything except for the Skyline, will kind of, I guess, always have a number. So, you know, no guarantees as far as what's going on then, but this is definitely peak as far as what has been in my driveway. As always, never would have thought I'd gotten to this point, but with the diversity, which is something that I've always been about, and, you know, the level to which each of these cars are and how they're all done and they all properly run and drive right now, the garage is truly in its peak form, and I want to thank you guys as much as possible for, you know, allowing this to be my life and allowing this to happen. Yo, do you like the setup?
I was wondering if you're having a cab show out here.
Yeah, dude. Welcome to the UltraMotive dealership. Pick out any one vehicle you like.
I want the orange one.
Yeah, the orange one is a high commodity these days. People seem to be throwing numbers at me.
what do you call it? The dealer upcharge on it.
Oh, the dealer upcharge? About like $200,000.
That's too much.
Yeah.
No, I'll take the Porsche. I'll take the Porsche.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's
the
true.
first option.